Frank, we got another question just came in from Charles Bronson. Can you explain the name change that happened earlier this year? So he's speaking of, it was Hive Blockchain and now it's Hive Digital Technologies. Frank, could you kind of break that down?
Well, if you're in the conspiracy thinking, etc., it's really not much really of a conspiracy if you listen to respected lawyers like Caitlin Long, who has said that the 15 biggest banks have basically done everything to stop on-ramping and off-ramping for anyone in Bitcoin and sending money, etc. We've seen and experienced this around the world. And so what's happened was that even though we own our own data centers, we run data centers, and we've been building out on the AI, the word blockchain automatically said, oh, that's bad. We won't send your money. And it was just really shocking to us. So we said, well, really, we're a part of the great digital transformation. And being part of that great digital transformation, it only happens if you have data centers. That's why we put our own data centers on our balance sheet. And so it better reflected that Hive Digital is part of something much bigger in addition to just Bitcoin mining. We're riding this great wave. And I'm a money manager, and one of the things to look for is the highest cash flow returns on invested capital. And I mentioned earlier, one of the things I loved about mining Ethereum, they just had better returns on invested capital. I think the worst thing they ever did was to leave proof of work to go to proof of stake, because they had 30 million kids around the world that went to bed and took their gaming GPU chips and started to try to mine. And they would try to mine. They could get 1 or 2 Ethereum a year. They bought them a new computer. That bought them new things. That's gone now. That whole big ecosystem around the world for Ethereum is evaporated. Those kids that were mining, they had a wallet. They turned around and had to go in exchange. They would go sell it, convert it to cash to buy a new computer. They shrunk that ecosystem that is predominantly just banks. And the biggest player in that place is JP Morgan in the staking game. So that's not been what we're not into that space. So we want to say that we're part of the great digital transformation.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Ethereum switching to proof of stake from proof of work. I think proof of work's more secure, and proof of stake obviously is going to be more centralized. And yeah, it hurt a lot of people that were mining Ethereum. I think most people didn't like it. Now, Frank, the next topic I want to bring up, you did speak at the Bitcoin conference a little while ago. And you brought up, how important Bitcoin is to private property rights. I thought that was a good correlation you made because, essentially, if they can take your Bitcoin, that sets the precedent that they can take all your property. Bitcoin is private property, and without private property rights, we don't have a country.